Our last speaker for the day is Mr. Geo Derice, who will be talking to us about the powers of masterminding.
Can you put the slide on? That picture looks like a cover of an album. I'm a rapper in my second career. But I wanted to share with you guys, and I wanted to start off with what happened to me back in 2008. In 2008, I had the privilege of being in Las Vegas. Now, typically, what is Las Vegas known for? Anybody know that saying? Say it. What you said? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? And here I am in Las Vegas for the very first time ever in my life with a group of business professionals. They are all in the fitness industry, and we had a chance to go ahead and do a campaign. And this campaign, what we decided to do was all the top performers, we would go ahead and fly them out to Las Vegas. And here I am in Las Vegas for the first time, and not the slot machines was not my attention. It was what happened when we all got into a room privately. When we all got a chance to go and collectively get away from the lights, get away from the shows, get away from the gambling, and that we got together with one another and formed what I then learned was a mastermind. The opportunity to go ahead and share with one another what it took to be successful, but also at the same time to share some of our insecurities, some of our pains, some of our flaws, some of our shortcomings. And being there and hearing from human beings, not the filtered stuff that we see on Instagram today, where we see all of the highlights, but seeing some of people's lowlights and relating to them blew me away. In fact, it blew me away so much so that it didn't stay in Vegas. I took it along with me. And it works, and also, I wanted to show you this, which was very interesting. Didn't know this was gonna happen. But in this photo is another version of a mastermind. And in this photo, in this mastermind, we have actually the strong man himself literally in the picture. Literally, he's in the picture, and I'm amazed. I'm like, oh my gosh, like we were in a mastermind before. And just to give you context of what a mastermind is and what is it different compared to a seminar, when you go to a seminar, you're going there obviously to learn something. When you go into a mastermind, it's not that you're looking to take information, you also have the responsibility to go ahead and give information as well. And so what I love so much about the mastermind is it gives this world where we're not just a bunch of receivers, but we're also a bunch of givers. And you get to build and leverage off one another. So maybe now I want to go ahead and learn how to bend a frying pan, especially, if I want to go and show my wife, look, I can do a metal omelet instead of cooking an omelet on the pan, like normal people, right? But at the same time, you go ahead and you just get fascinated because of the diversity, because of all the different things that we all have an opportunity to go ahead and do. Now, here's the issue when it comes to masterminds that I see a lot of people get into, and I've been guilty of this myself. The reality is that a lot of us, if we were to be honest, we love to go and take credit for the success that we've achieved. I'll never forget a quote where one person said, if you want to go somewhere fast, go by yourself. If you want to go somewhere far, make sure you go with others. And so I look at this and I'm like, oh, everybody has this, I'm made by me and I'm self-made. And that is the attitude that oftentimes stops us from being able to go and build with one another. When everybody shows that I know what to do, what we end up realizing is this image here, where we fall into this trap of thinking we ourselves are the puzzle and don't realize that we're just a puzzle piece. And the only way for us to really benefit is to go and realize who we are, but also understand that what makes it is who's connected to us. So the people sitting next to you, you may not realize this, but they may be the very person that helps you get to the best version of yourself. If I wasn't in the mastermind with Mr. Moss, how do I even find out about this opportunity in the first place? It was because of him. And I'll share this with you because I truly believe that this is something that is very common in the business world. Business worlds, they have board of directors, there's advisory boards. But what if businesses that are designed like Apple, like for years, just continuously being number one? Sorry if you have a Samsung, right? But the reality is that they just continue to thrive, but it's the community that creates that. It's the fact that we work together that creates that. It's the fact that we realize that we're just puzzle pieces in a big puzzle. And I could just only imagine how much lower the suicide rates would be, or how much lower depression would be if we were all to look at each other as just a piece and not the whole picture. So I wanted to share with you guys some of the stuff that when I grew up, like Captain Planet. Anybody know what Captain Planet is? How do you know? Like, right? I was very young when Captain Planet came out. And what was so cool was obviously there was earth, wind, fire, water, and heart. Now, I could just only imagine if Earth decided he had a rough day. Like maybe it was raining. And Earth decided, you know what, guys? You guys got it on your own. I'm not coming today. Captain Planet doesn't work if all the 5 rings don't come together united in the first place. What about us? You say, I'm not coming. Maybe like one of them group projects when you don't, right? When you're like, shucks, I didn't do my part. So then you automatically missed out, and now somebody else has to go and take on your responsibility. It doesn't work unless we all work. Then I got my favorite, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We share the first same love, pizza, right? That's my first love, before my wife, don't tell her, right? So pizza's big, right? So pizza's big. Turtles were big, right? And they all had different skill sets and different personalities. They weren't all the same. One had nunchucks, the other one had sword, one had a big bamboo stick, and the other one had, I don't know what the weapon was called, but some piece of metal that you probably bend, right? So right? So it was so amazing that they were all different, but together was what made them the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Then we had the Power Rangers, and they had all the different colors, yellow, blue, pink, black, the Green Ranger. Then they even came out with the White Ranger at some point. They don't work together again well if they're not working in unison. And then obviously, some of you are going to go see this movie. We have the Avengers and the Endgame. And Captain America is cool by himself. And so is the Hulk. I love the Hulk. Because as a kid, I just loved ripping shirts for no reason, because obviously I didn't buy them. Then you have, Thor and all these different things. But the beauty of it is when all these superheroes come together. And I think sometimes what happens is we don't like to work together because we think that it diminishes our own value. I never go to Baskin-Robbins and see the pistachio, look at the ice, the vanilla, and say, why do they always pick you? How come they never pick me? Or chocolate is jealous, or strawberry. What I see is a group of ice creams that's just happy to be within Baskin-Robbins. That's what I see, right? And I think it sounds silly, but imagine if we just thought about it like that. Like, we're just fortunate to be who you are. And who you are is just enough. Like, if you could just be you, don't try to be somebody else, be yourself. Because that is essentially who we need. You acting like someone else is the problem. We don't need carbon copies. What we need is originals. Those are the ones that are more valuable. Go and get a counterfeit bag. I bought them back in the days. A Coach belt for $12, and then somebody else says it's $300. The reason the original is worth more is because it's original. It wasn't just some type of cheap copy. I encourage people all the time when I go and speak to tell them, just be yourself. Don't worry about being like somebody else, because if you change who you are, then ultimately we don't get what we need, being the puzzle piece that's next to you. What these superheroes understood was the whole idea of TAM makes communities powerful. And TAM is an acronym. Anybody know what it is? Go ahead. Yeah, T is team. Yeah, it's the first letter of team. This is true. But what an acronym actually is this. Together, everyone achieves more. Together, everyone achieves more. And I think about how many of us, like one of the biggest, highest levels of human needs. I saw this in a guy named Tony Robbins, and he shared the different needs. And on the top, they mentioned the personality needs, right? And first you have certainty. We want to make sure, like, I know stuff that's predictable. Like, I'm grateful the sun shows up every day. Like, I wake up and I'm like, hey, there you go, again, thank you. Because if the sun decided to not go and realize that it was a piece of the puzzle, then we would all die. Right? But then you have variety, because we don't want, sometimes you want a little bit of a surprise, right? You don't want to know all the time, chicken every day, come on, switch it up, fried chicken today, like switch it up a little bit, right? So we need variety, but we all want to feel significant. We all want to go ahead and feel some type of love and connection. That's the power of realizing that you're a puzzle piece, is you know that by yourself, you're not as valuable as you are together. But then the lower level, which is a different color, speaks to the highest needs of them all. The highest needs of them all is growth and contribution. And that essentially is what a mastermind allows you to do. It's all of these group of people coming for a goal, and we're naturally just trying to grow. And I truly believe that for those who are here, maybe you're a student or maybe you're in a position of your life, I want to just tell you that there's no such thing as a graduation. If the last time you got a diploma was the last time you graduated, you're doing something wrong. We should constantly be lifelong learners. And masterminds are environments that are fostered to allow that to happen. You get to grow, but like I said, it's a give and take relationship. You can't just go ahead and say, hey, thank you, my business grew. Thank you, my life is peaches and cream, I'm great. And then you don't go and make a contribution. That's where you get to feel fulfillment. Many people have jobs today, and they hate it because they don't feel like there's any room to grow, and they don't feel like they matter in the place that they are. A lot of people, you think it's money. It's not so much the money. It's the opportunity to get better and the opportunity to go and help somebody else as well. So I want to tell you guys the 3-step process to go ahead and building your own masterminds. Now, I want to tell you, be honest, first and foremost, if you're going to come out and think that you're a fixed mindset like Carl Dweck talks about, and don't think you can grow, you probably shouldn't join one. Because what you'll ultimately do is stunt the growth of the piece next to you. So the first thing is you want to have an open mind. I forget this guy by the name of Tim Ross in Texas. He says that he has an acronym called HOT. And that stands for, it's hot. But what H stands for is honest. The O stands for open. And T stands for transparency. Could you imagine walking in a room where everybody shared something that they didn't think anyone else knew, but that was a little bit embarrassing? How would that lower the barrier of entry for you? We all have an opportunity to go ahead and do that. I love throwing myself under the bus. Because when I throw myself under the bus, somebody says, well, oh, you're just normal. Oh, you make mistakes? Oh, so I can make mistakes as well. Just by being open. Don't go and start highlighting all the things you do right. I have found that the way to go and connect as a community is to share some of the things you've done wrong. So joining the mastermind, this is my actual speaking mastermind, where we all have goals of obviously speaking in different areas of life. But the power of it is that every single person comes from a different area, has different experiences, and as a combination of them, we're able to go ahead and unlock our full potential. My first step is to tell you to go and join the mastermind, because the reality is, by joining it, you'll know how to do it. Now, many of you are students in the room, and you might be saying, how do I go and join a mastermind? I was here only for a few minutes, and I heard so many different clubs. Maybe he's doing poetry slam and joining the club in the school. When you join the clubs, that is an opportunity for you to develop a mastermind. That's an opportunity to develop deep relationships that you can go and build over a period of time. I wish I understood this when I was in college. I was the college student that literally went to school for grades. I grew up in a Haitian American culture, right? My parents is Haitian, and they sent me to school for one reason and one reason only. Go and get the grades. Mom, I made a new friend. Where's the A? That was essentially what it was. So I didn't know how to go and build relationships and build friends. As a matter of fact, I joined one club in my whole college career, and it was because they gave free pizza. The second meeting, they didn't give free pizza, and I did not attend. I literally walked in the room like, the pizza's coming? Oh, it's coming late. Okay. After a while, you start realizing, oh, it's not coming. Oh, well, since the pizza's not here, neither am I. Right? So that was the reality of it. But one of my biggest regrets is a lot of times what happens is we have this social awkwardness that literally should be developed and weaned out of your system in high school, in college, early on the job, right? But we don't go ahead and do that, and then we go into our lives where it really matters, where the dress rehearsal's over, and now you want to figure out, how do I make friends? Too late. Too late. This is the time to go and do it. Find something to plug yourself in. You don't have a friend? Go make one. Don't wait for them to come for you. The 7 habits of effective people, the first habit alone says we have to be proactive. Don't wait to go and get a friend. Go and show yourself to be friendly. So go ahead, join something. Be a part of something. Don't stay apart. Be a part. But then the second step comes. Once you've figured out how to do it, the next step is you got to go ahead and create that space for somebody else. So you go ahead, maybe you did some poetry slam, and you're like, okay, I like it. Your responsibility, now that you know what it did for you, is to go and create that space for somebody else to go ahead and experience it. And that's what I did. I went ahead and I learned how to do the masterminds, and I said, oh my gosh, how great it was to grow and contribute. Let me provide that opportunity to others so that we all can grow. We can all get better. Now, I'll tell you this. They had a good time. I'm going to tell you something. Young people, you tell them to say cheese, they too cool for school. They ain't saying cheese no more. You know you had to have a good time for adults to go and make silly faces. Right? We had a great time, but we had a great time because we was able to grow, but also able to contribute. And once you get a chance to go ahead and do that, and I'll be honest with you, you want to be open, we want to be honest, we want to be transparent, and that's what I did. I shared with them my struggles. I shared with them the fact that I had negative $24 in my bank account, but I was still calling myself a CEO. There's a lot of people who are business owners on Instagram just because the letter CEO is in their bio. So I go ahead and I have negative $24, and they look at me and said, "You had negative $24? Oh my God, I got $1. I'm better. I feel better about myself." And that's essentially what happens when you're honest and open and transparent, is you give people the opportunity to go and be their real self. And then we automatically get a chance to grow. But now once you created the space, the next level becomes you become the mastermind itself. That any room you go in, you create that energy, that vibe of people believing that there is another level. The vibe of let's just give out of love. Let's just go ahead and share. There's nothing better than that. And so I've gotten the opportunity to go, whether it's in New Dorp, Staten Island, talking to a youth group, or whether it's going to Building a Better Brothers Summit with a group of young men from the Harlem or the Bronx. I've had the opportunity to go ahead and become the very thing that I needed in the beginning. I became a becomer, but it became the key thing was I had to get to the part where I did step one. I had to join. And there's nothing more rewarding, I'll tell you this as I close. This was one of my biggest highlights. And you'll notice that I'm nowhere in the picture. This is a gentleman who I spoke at his college 4 years ago. And he became a friend of mine. And I invited him to go and join a mastermind. And he did that very thing. He joined the mastermind, had a great time. And one of the greatest things after the mastermind, he told me, "Geo, my greatest part was that I got a chance to help somebody else." And my mission, my goal, if you don't remember anything else, is I just want to share hope with people. I just want people to be hope. Some people call me the hope dealer. Yes, I deal hope. That's what's so dope. Hope, right? So you go ahead, and I'm saying to myself, like, what would the world look like if people just believed that tomorrow would look a little bit different than today did? I remember the days when I was 14, 15 years old when I tried to attempt suicide because I just thought that the bad day I had was just going to repeat itself and never end. I am on a mission to go ahead and tell people that if we can just join one another, to go and lock arms with one another, we can go ahead and inspire other people to be full of hope, to think that possible is an opportunity, is something that we can actually have, and you'll start seeing people who has frowning, people who was sad, all of a sudden just looking up and saying, "Man, I don't know what up is, but I just know it's somewhere and I'm gonna find it." And so Matt went ahead, he joined a mastermind, then he went ahead and he created it. Now he's going all over the nation and becoming it. And when I asked him, and the video doesn't play, but I want to tell you exactly what he said that the mastermind, the greatest thing about it is it just gave me opportunity to not only be held accountable, but to go ahead and hold somebody else accountable. He said that it helped him become super successful just by becoming it. And here's the cool thing about a mastermind, guys. You can't do it wrong. You just got to be willing to want to go ahead and do it. And it's my hope that you would go ahead and leave this presentation and go ahead and create a mastermind. And not just in your school, create it in your communities. Create it in your neighborhoods. Go outside of your comfort zone and find someone who doesn't look like you. If you looked at that first picture, there was one black guy, a Filipino, an Irish person. There was so many different things. And what I love about it is when I look at a rainbow, I say wow, not just because the color blue is there. I say wow because blue, red, yellow, green, orange, all of them come together. And I'm here to share with you that when we do, this world will become a much more hopeful place. Thank you.